Okay, so today we are learning how to solve logarithmic equations. Let's read this first sentence. It says logs with the same base on both sides of an equal sign. What you're going to do is cancel them out and solve. So guys, this is what it's saying. Logs with the same base on both sides. So for example, let's say I have log base 3. Log base 3. We have a log with the same base on both sides. What it's saying that you do is you cancel those out and then you just solve what's remaining. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Here's the first example. We have log 3 and log 3. You have the same log on both sides. So guys, just cancel those out. We're going to solve what's remaining. Now that is algebra 1 from there. So I'm going to pause here and let you guys solve for x. All right, so this is what you should have gotten. We can add 6 to both sides so that you get 3x equals 2x plus 7. And then you could have subtracted 2x and gotten x equals 7. Okay, so that is how you solve when you have logs on both sides of the equal sign. All right, so let's look back at the notes. It says always check for an extraneous solution. An extraneous solution means something that if you plug it in, it will not make sense, okay? You won't get a good answer. You won't even be able to graph it. Okay, so if you have a negative inside of a log or an ln, that means it is an extraneous solution. If you try to type it into Desmos, it's going to be like, cannot compute, okay? You cannot have a negative number inside of a log or an ln, okay? So let's check to make sure we do not get a negative when we plug it back in. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this down, log base 3 of 3x minus 6 equals log base 3, 2x plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that this is not extraneous. I'm going to erase the x, and what do you think I'm going to plug in? A 7. We just said that x is 7. So I'm going to plug in a 7 here. Okay. 3 times 7 is 21 minus 6 will be positive. So this will be a positive number. So that's okay. Will this become positive? Will that be positive? Yep. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. So this is positive. As long as they're positives, when you plug it in, this is okay. You cannot have a negative on the inside. Okay? All right, let's do the next example. You have the same log on both sides. So we're going to have 4x equals 36. You divide both sides by 4 and we get x is 9. Let's make sure that this is not extraneous. So I'm going to plug it back to the original problem. Log base 5 of 4x. Okay, I'm going to erase this x and put a 9 right there. Is this positive? Yep, okay, since it's positive, that's okay. You cannot have a negative in there. All right, let's do the next example. Okay, we have log 4 and log 4 on both sides. So we're left with x squared equals 81. What number squared is 81? 9. Because 9 times 9 is 81. What is the other number that will also give you 81? Negative 9 times negative 9 is also 81. So we have 2 answers that will give you 81. So let's check both of these. My original problem said log base 4 of x squared. I'm going to replace this x with a 9. Will this be positive? Yeah, okay, that means this is an answer. If I plug in a -9, will this be positive?
Yes.
Yep, because -9 times -9 is 81. So they both gave me a positive when I plugged it back in. So those are both answers. Yep, those are both answers. That works. Okay, finally, let's do the last example. We have ln and ln on both sides. So we're going to equal what's left over. Okay, so guys, we're going to do some algebra here. I'm going to move this x on this side and make it a -x. So I still have x squared. I still have -30, but I'm moving this x to the other side and making it a -x. And since I moved that x, there's nothing on this side. I'm just left with 0. Whenever you have a squared like this, we're going to have to factor. Okay? So you need two numbers that will multiply together to give you -30 and add to give you this value, -1. You can imagine a 1 right here. Okay, so can y'all think of two numbers? Okay, if you can't think of the numbers immediately, just go start with 1. Will those add to -1? No. -1 and 30 will also not. The answer is 5 and -6. But let's just go down the list. 2 times -15, -2 times 15, 3 and -10, -3 positive 10. These numbers all multiply to -30, but only one of these will add to -1. Okay, so those are your two answers. So we're going to put those in factored form. This will be x plus 5 and x minus 6. Okay, those are your factors. Now we're going to solve for x. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have x plus 5 equal to 0 and x minus 6 equal to 0. And then you solve. Subtract 5, so x is -5. Add 6, so x is 6. Okay, now don't box those answers just yet. We have to make sure that they're not extraneous. So I'm going to plug it back into the original problem. ln x squared minus 30 equals ln x. Okay, so I'm going to erase these x's. Let's try this 6 first. I'm going to plug in this 6. This is positive, so that's good. What's 6 squared? Is 36 minus 30 a positive number?
Yeah.
Yep, okay, so those both worked. So I'm going to go ahead and box that one. That can be an answer. Let's try -5. I'm going to plug in -5 now. -5, -5. Well, that's negative, so that didn't work. And what's -5 times -5?
25.
Is 25 minus 30 positive? Nope, it's negative. That means this is not an answer. Everyone write, this is extraneous. It is extraneous.